Hi folks, Dave with DBS Tech Talk, and today we're going to talk about two items from the past. And welcome to 2020, a new decade, a new year. Let's see what DBS Tech Talk has in store. So, starting off, several years ago I had two items that really pushed me towards all of this. And they were the RHA S500 and the Superlux HD681 Evo. The S500 was my first in-ear that really showed me that there was more to audio than just what I was getting out of the freebies. The S500s are a very simple and straightforward in-ear that is tangled up at the moment. There we go. It has a nice cable, 3.5 millimeter RHA branded on it, fabric all the way to the split. The split is plastic. And you have a nice little slider, which, there we go, get my fingers out of the way, slides up nice. And this part of the wire is rubber. On the right hand side you have a one button microphone and remote, and then you have extremely small in-ears which are attached wire. You do not have detachable wires on these. They are branded L and R and say RHA on the back side of them, which is really hard to see on camera. They have decent size port and bore. As you can see, they kind of look like little hair dryers. The RHA tips are extremely nice. I love dual density tips from RHA. And speaking of tips, you do get on there we go, a tray with tips in your package. You get dual flange and then a bunch of dual density different sizes. And it comes on this nice little plastic tray, which makes it nice and easy to transport. I recommend either the singles, silicones, or you use the Deconi bullets. And I really enjoy them with the foams instead. But I find that both of these do a good job of isolating. When these are in your ear, we will turn the fan on here. Left ear, excuse me, and right ear. Fan's on full. I can barely hear it. I would say I can probably only hear about 20% of the sound. So these block out extremely well. They are very good isolating in-ears, and those are with the silicones in. It's even better with foam. How do these sound? They have a V-shaped signature. The bass is prominent. It is detailed-ish. It's a little bit more on the thumpy, impactful side than it is on the clear details, but you do get a detail in it. It's not like it lumps all the sound together. You can tell the different bass instruments, but it's not the super clean and clear bass like you would get from something like a planar. But for a $20 in-ear, the bass is amazing. These are nice and a thumpy, fun bass. The mids are recessed and they are impacted slightly by that little bit warmer, thumpy bass. So you do get a little bit of warmth to the mids, but it is a step back and behind the bass, also behind the treble. But it's a clean and clear with a little bit of grain, especially in the upper mids, especially on badly recorded songs, or if you're listening to music at extreme volume, you will really hear the graininess in them. Other than that, it is a fairly decently accurate sounding mid. Treble, the lower treble has some grain in it, and then the upper treble has a little bit of graininess, sharpness to it, and it does have a more sibilant and sharp sounding treble. It is a brighter sound. It's not the cleanest treble, but it extends well. And the only times that you really notice the problems in the treble is at higher volumes or on really badly recorded music. Soundstage is decent for an in-ear. It's not super wide, but it's not intimate either. And you got decent placement with your instruments. Nothing sounds like it's being forced at you, and nothing sounds out of place. It's just kind of there. It does a good job. I mean, you're talking $20 here. Is there things better than these? Absolutely. Is there worse ones? Yes. If you can pay extra, like double your budget, let's say your budget's $20. If you can budget $40, the Blonde BL3s are a better option. The CCA C12s or C10s are better than these. But for $20, if you just need something to beat around with, wear around outside, and you're not worried about them being stolen, being lost, being broken, things like that, these work fantastic. For $20, they work good. There are better, but it's definitely a step up from a lot of freebie stuff that you can get. I recommend that you use the Deconi Bullets. It tames down the treble, and they actually sound more controlled. You do get a little bit more warmth and a thump in the bass and mid area, so they become a little more boomy. But you're not going to use these to do critical listening, so it becomes a fun headphone when you use the foam tips. All right, moving on. The Superlux, what did I do with them? Here we go. The Superlux HD681s, Evos. Excuse me. These were my first open headphone. Everything else prior to it had been something from Symphonized, Symphonized Wraith 2.0s, House of Marley's, and I can't think of what the other one was. But it wasn't anything spectacular. I mean, it was all closed back. And so the Superlux HD681 Evos came around. My original was white. White wasn't available when I went to purchase these again, so I had to get black. Pretty much the same, but I think they've improved them. I don't remember this head strap being quite as nice as it is on here. Now, I'm not saying that this is like world beater, fantastic build quality, but I seem to remember that this band was chintzier back in the day. And also the stock pads seem to be improved on the newer version than on the previous version that I owned. The stock pads seem to be really thin, whereas these ones seem to be a little bit better. And you actually do get a pair of velour, and you get a pad or a pair of pleather pad. And the pleather ones seem to have a little bit more cushion than I originally remember, and so do the velours, but they're still not the greatest. But they're not instantaneous. I gotta change these. It's more like I need to change these when I have a chance. So I did put Brainwaves XL, went with the suedes on. Other than that, the changes, that's it. That's the only change I made, was change the pad. This seems to be a little more comfy, but it's not the greatest. Plastic, makes weird noises, and has the most genius connector on a headphone I've ever seen. It is a male 3.5 sticking out. It's almost like when they were building these back in the day, they had an attached cable. Excuse me. And someone probably was testing them at the office and snapped the cable and was like, oh man, bummer. And so they came up with the genius idea of let's not rework the whole innards and have to rewire to put a detachable in there. Let's just snip the cable and put a 3.5 on here. And then you can just take your cable and we'll just give them a female on one end so they can just connect it there. And then we'll just give them a 10-foot cable and stick a 3.5 on that end. And that way, if they happen to get, like I did, happen to get my chair caught on my cable, I can just disconnect it. That's probably what happened. I mean, seriously. But you get two cables. You get the 10-foot long aux cable with a female 3.5 and a male 3.5, or you get the one that I dropped on the floor, which is a shorter 2-foot one with the same setup, a 3.5 female and 3.5 male. And they just snap right into place right there. Genius. Comfort wise, these have the perfect amount of clamp force. The head strap here doesn't really do anything other than just kind of curve on the head. But the way that this here conforms to your head, they're like feathers. I mean, seriously, these things are so light on your head. They are way more comfortable than the Philips X2HRs. They aren't built a tenth of the quality of the X2HR, but they are way more comfy to me. No clamp force, no problems with fatigue, and it just rotate and they just sit. They're so comfortable. Just craziness how comfortable they are. They're fairly open. Now these are semi-open, so they're partially closed. You can hear the air conditioner. No, I'm sorry, it's not an air conditioner running today. It's too cold for that. I can hear the furnace blowing. And I can hear something else. I'm not sure what that other sound is. Might be a mouse or something. Anyways, whatever. So you can hear things around you, but they're not like super open. But they're open enough to let you be able to hear your surroundings and bleed, and people will hear what you're listening to. Now, I remember when I first put these on several years ago, I was blown away by the sound quality, how much details I was hearing in my music, how it sounded more natural and open and just airy and just wispy. And the soundstage was wider. When I got these out of the box a couple weeks ago, and I was all excited. I mean, I was having that moment of, like when you're an adult and you get a little kid toy as a Christmas gift. Somebody gets you a gag gift, and it's like the most awesome gift that you got that year. Even though you got several other amazing gifts, it's that one that takes you back to when you were like 10 or 12 years old. That you're like, I'll get it. That's the way I felt when I got these. And I put them on, and I was, again, amazed at the quality of sound that they produced. It's open. You got a sound stage. You've got things moving around on the sound stage. You have placement on the sound stage that is precise enough to use for gaming. That's good enough to say, hey, he's over here and he's shooting at you. Or this person is walking in from the left. Or this person is standing just right of center of the microphone. Or left of center. Whichever way that they are at. The soundstage and the imaging is pretty good for a $40 headphone. The bass is a little bit on the boomy and thumpy side, but it's fun. It's engaging. It's not the most clean bass ever, but you have enough details in there to know what the different instruments are, but at the same time you have more fun and impact on it. I enjoy the bass more on these than I did on the X2HR. The mids. The mids have a natural tone to them. They have a very natural timbre to them. They're nice and full. They have an engagement to them. They're there, and they do their job, and they do their job well. The treble is a little bit bright, but it at the same time gives nice energy, very good detail, and nice airiness to it. There's a little bit of a breath of fresh air when you put these on. Not super technical, not super clear details, but they're there. For a $40 headphone, these are fantastic. They're not going to compare to a Focal Elex or a Sennheiser HD600 or an Edition XX from Hi-Fi Man, but they have a nice amount of soundstage and clarity and detail and airiness to them for a $40 headphone. This is a good starter open back. You want open sound, you want to know what it sounds like, you've never heard it before, but you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars? Get a Superlux HD681 Evo. I still recommend these. I still recommend the RHA S500s. 3 years after the fact, yep. Both of them still get a thumbs up from me. Is there better? Absolutely. Is there worse? Oh yeah, absolutely. I recommend both. Still have fun with both. This has been Dave with DBS Tech Talk. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen floating around is going to be a subscription link and a notification bell. If you haven't already, please check off that subscription link, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll know when the next video is uploaded. If you really enjoy this channel or would like to help it, or you have questions for it, see the links down below. Thank you, and have yourself a great day.